Today's weather update video, we're going to be talking about the severe weather threat happening across the plains and as well as the northeastern corridor. And we're still going to be talking about our major hurricane and also our first one for the Atlantic season, Hurricane Erin. For today, we do have a slight risk of severe weather over here towards South Dakota, southeast South Dakota, northeastern Nebraska, northwestern Iowa, and southeastern Minnesota. And we also do have a marginal risk that does surround that for the plains, northern plains, and also the Midwest a little bit. We have one over here in Montana, central Montana, a little bit of Idaho, and also over here in the northeastern corridor. We'll be having some potentially marginal risk from DC through Baltimore, Philly, New York City, in Boston, even up to Maine, we could see some severe weather, isolated severe weather possible. And our biggest risk is going to be the wind risk. We do have a 15% chance over here in our pre-existing slight area. However, 5% chance here, over here in Montana and Idaho, and as well as is the northeastern corridor. The hail threat is really only going to be a plains thing over here in the plains, maybe a little bit of the northern plains and Midwest, and even over here in the central Montana. We just have a tiny 5% chance in here. And notice that we don't have one over here in the northeastern corridor, which is good that we don't have one. Then we do have a tornado risk. It's a small tornado risk by percentage and area over here in eastern South Dakota and western Minnesota, mainly around Sioux Falls, a little bit of Clear Lake, South Dakota. Maybe some towns outside of Minneapolis, specifically west of Minneapolis, could be under that as well. Obviously, it could expand, but probably not by much. And for day 2, we do have a marginal risk for the plains, northern plains, and the Midwest. From Dakotas down to Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Illinois will be under that. There could also be a chance that somewhere along within here, there could be a slight risk as well. And I do think there's at least a decent chance that that will happen. And our biggest risk is obviously going to be the wind risk, covering that marginal area. However, the hail risk is only going to be a plains thing and not a Midwest problem. Dakotas and Nebraska will be under that. Alright, so I'm going to be going over the severe weather on here because the HRRR model is not currently up. It's currently having its updating session right now, but we're going to be using the NAM model for this, so this is going to be over the next couple of days. So, as you can see already into today, we do have our low pressure system kind of over, the northern plains and Midwest, and this is where we're going to be seeing our severe weather threat happening. And obviously, that is going to be moving through a little bits of, North Dakota. Oh, goodness. A little bit of North Dakota and Minnesota here. Obviously, as we do move, those storms will continue on through Minnesota, into Wisconsin, and Illinois. Obviously, this is going to be a little line, but some areas could see it, some areas might not. And then as we go back, we'll talk about the northeastern corridor here. Now we can see this isn't really detailed quality, so this might not look like severe weather, but it will be for the most part. And as you can see already throughout into evening time, some of those storms will be moving through New England and the Northeast. Even that line will extend down towards the Mid-Atlantic and the Ohio Valley. And then as we kind of go into the next day, into kind of Monday into Tuesday, we'll have some severe weather patches here and there across the plains in the Midwest into the Ohio Valley. And then it kind of gets a little uncertain at some point. The quality for the NAM model isn't the best, but it's the best that I got to do, at least for this video. Will still be a problem for the U.S. in some way. Over here, particularly where we've been seeing our severe weather over the past day or two, even for today, we do have a slight risk. However, a lot of us are going to be under this 5% chance. So probably even like half of the country in terms of population are going to be under this 5% chance for excessive rainfall. And into today too, luckily the areas highlighted under the slight risk and marginal risk are going to be much less. Over here in southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and a little bit of Iowa, we could be seeing some of that. Madison, Milwaukee, some of the northern suburbs of Chicago could be under this stuff. And the 5% chance will extend across the Great Lakes region for a bit. And even down here in the southeast, we have some areas as well, and as well as the southwest. And then day 3, there is no slight risk. However, I do think there would be a chance in one of these two areas to have it, particularly in this area where we do have a large area of the 5% chance for excessive rainfall. The southwest, we are going to have a little bit of that. However, the chances of it going to a slight risk aren't going to be going up as much. Now, this is going to be, again, through the NAM model, so it's not going to be within the next, 2 days. This is going to be within the next 3 days. That's not going to be in the best quality, but I'm going to try to go over it as the best as I can. So, for our severe weather threat region, we are going to be under some swaths of probably, quite frankly, 1 to 4 inches possible throughout, parts of the Midwest and Northern Plains. Obviously, some areas will get that stuff, some areas won't get that stuff. However, we do notice as we kind of go down here, just ignore the ad, but down here where our Hurricane Erin is going to be moving through, we can see that, almost up to 2 feet of rain is going to drop from this. I do think that's a little unrealistic, but I would see it happening. Obviously this is going to be off into the ocean, so we aren't going to have to worry about this. However, we are going to be worrying about, the rip current risk happening across the eastern seaboard. However, in like the southeast, some areas 1 to 2 to even 3 inches possible. Some areas will receive that, some areas won't. That'll be the same for the southern plains again, where we'll have some rain kind of moving through, and as well as the northeastern corridor, near even around the Chesapeake Bay, some swaths of 1 to 3 inches are possible. Now it's going to be the hurricane talk time. So over here, right outside some Caribbean islands, outside Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Haiti, we do have Hurricane Erin, currently as a Cat 3, projected to be a Cat 4 here probably by tonight. And then as we kind of go through into tomorrow, maybe into tomorrow afternoon, it'll stay that way. And then maybe by the time we get to Tuesday, it'll go back down to Cat 3, Tuesday, Wednesday. Probably then by the end of the week, it's going to be somewhere kind of up here, past the Carolinas and Bermuda. And it's going to go right in between those, but it's probably going to be heading over here. It's going to be kind of weaker than expected, so waves over here in the northeast might not be as severe, but we are still getting to watch out for those rip current risks. And, this is still moving, around 20, still to 25 miles an hour. We do have a really low pressure, around 946 millibars. That is really low for a hurricane, and winds currently are around 127, which is like right around Cat 3, nearly Cat 4 strength. And yeah, we do see that it will go up to a Cat 4 for a bit, and then it'll go back down to a Cat 3, and then a Cat 2. So for climate over the next 6 to 10 days, half of the country is going to be split between lower than average and, near normal average and above than average. Most likely half of the country will either be, below average or above average. So areas like the Great Lakes, Midwest, Northeast, Ohio Valley, Northern Plains, and a little bit of the plains will be under that, below than average temperatures. Unlike the southeast and the western part of the country, where we'll be above average for temperatures. And then within the next 8 to 14 days, that will relatively stay the same. However, some warmer air might be catching on to the south, pushing that cooler than average air up to the north. Over here, still in like the Midwest, Northern Plains, Northeast, will still be a little below, but like areas in the Mid-Atlantic, even in the Plains, Ohio Valley, Ohio River Valley, could start turning into a much more warmer 8 to 14 days, so that is what we could expect. 3 to 4 weeks, this actually has updated, I do believe, within the past day or so, But a lot of the country throughout the next 3 to 4 weeks will either likely be above average or near normal average temperatures. The southern part of the country, or I should say the south, is going to be warmer than average temperatures. The north, on the other hand, is going to be near normal average temperatures. Precipitation over the next 6 to 10 days. A lot of us in the country are either going to be above average for precipitation or near normal average temperatures for precipitation. Most of our above average precipitation will be kind of where in the southwest where we've been dealing with some wildfires still. Not as much. They have been dying down some. So hopefully some more of this rain will return. And over here, maybe in the Pacific Northwest, will be, a little bit below than average precipitation. Then within the next 8 to 14 days, most of the country is going to be above than average for precipitation. Maybe a little bit of the interior of the U.S., so like the Great Lakes, Midwest, Ohio River Valley, and a little bit of the Southeast might stay near normal, but most of us will be above average. And then within the next 3 to 4 weeks, models might be suggesting that the Southeast might, seek more rain, a little bit of the Pacific Northwest and the Southwest. Southwest meaning like Arizona, New Mexico. However, some drought might be about to return, or at least below the average precipitation. Might be returning for Utah, Nevada, and places around there. And then last place, we're going to be talking about droughts. So a lot of us in the Northeast hit areas are, abnormally dry to moderately dry. But even down here in the southeast, some drought is starting to return for some areas. It's still up to moderate drought, still possible. In the plains, our drought has been getting a little better. However, it's still up to severe. Northern plains, some rain from those severe weather has been doing some good up there. Still, like the Pacific Northwest, though, we're still in that up to extreme, even exceptionally drought happening over here in the Pacific Northwest. Could be it for today's weather video. So if you guys like to see a new one, make sure you guys like and subscribe for more weather updates, especially with the severe weather happening across the U.S. and the Hurricane Erin off into the Atlantic. So if you guys want to get more updates about that, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.